Hello and welcome to Capital Games. I'm the Wiz.
And I'm Zero.
Zero, this is our first chill session that we're having that we're calling the Weekly Dividend. And what this is me and Zero are going to play a game co-op, or we'll go against each other. And we'll just talk about the week that happened. And let's just get started there, Zero. Let's get to a game first. What are we are playing Warhammer 40k Darktide. For those of you who played Vermintide and Vermintide 2, it's essentially the same game, but in Warhammer 40k. I told this to Zero, and I'll say it again. The loading in this game sucks. Oh yeah, Lord.
It is atrocious, but supposedly, I think Fat Shark said that they are working to optimize the loading, so maybe it gets better the next patch. Who knows? It's really going to be hard to assess, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna look for a match. Let's look for a strike team right now. So I guess we're waiting on that. So why don't we just get started with the week that happened this week? There's not much news that happened this week, but we concluded our year in review for 2022. And we talked about the Steam Deck and the Activision Blizzard Microsoft buyout. And there's really not much to add on that, except that I guess there's a little more news on the buyout, where the FTC has essentially said that Microsoft hasn't made any conciliatory efforts as of right now to the FTC, which, I don't know about you, that doesn't really surprise me too much. But then again,
we've had reports of a new strain of the
we need you to find a again, doesn't really surprise me too much that they haven't made any efforts right now in the beginning of the process. So there's that.
Yeah, and it's in Microsoft's best interest to keep their mouth shut anyways.
Right.
As cynical as it is for me to say that, but that's really the truth of it, that Microsoft gains no ground by opening their mouth and saying something either stupid or kind. So I imagine that's why they're probably telling Phil Spencer, hey, you need to shut the fuck up and let the lawyers do the talking. So I imagine that's probably why he hasn't really talked much about the deal, other than, hey, we promised to give Nintendo Call of Duty for 10 years, and we even went as far as, telling Valve that, Steam can have it for 10 years too. So that's really my take on it. Just it's just in their best business interest to keep their mouths shut and let the lawyers do all the talking. And if the lawyers say, hey, you can say this, no, you cannot say this, then Phil will probably just do whatever the lawyers tell him to.
Yeah. And yeah, that is an effective strategy, just to let the time pass and see what happens. Also, there was news that the CMA are increasing their time for their inquiry until April of this year, and analysts have been saying that's the one to look for. That's the one to look forward to. That's the one important. So if the CMA one goes belly up, then there's going to be talk that this might not go through. But as of this point, we're still looking at getting more, I guess, more information as the time goes on the buyout. Whoa! I guess I gotta say it again.
Yeah, Hound got us.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think that's really where that whole thing with the Microsoft stuff is going. It's just going to be a lot of radio silence until the lawyers basically say, "Hey, this is what's okay to talk about. This is not what is okay to talk about." So I imagine that's why just things are probably going to be quiet for a good long while.
Right. So after that, we talked about Steam. Whoa, what was that?
Oh god, I got thrown off.
Uh-oh.
Solid enough a moment ago.
Don't fall, boss.
But the Steam Deck was the other thing that we talked about over this past week, and I guess the effect that it had this year on video games. Oh my god, I'm way behind you guys. But yeah, I think the one thing I'm gonna be curious about when it comes to Steam Deck is if they talk about how many were sold over the holiday season. Because I can imagine that being a big gift for like techies throughout this Christmas. So, oh wow. So that will be interesting to find out what the sales on that are. Also, if the Steam Deck also increased sales during the summer-winter sale. Because that was this past week, and that just passed. But I'm wondering if, since that was just this past week, if that may have improved the sales of the Steam Deck, or just for Steam in general, and for PC games. So it's going to be interesting to see if they have more information on that coming up.
Yeah. As I mentioned in my end-of-the-year retrospective, it'll be really interesting to see if Valve maintains the momentum on the Steam Deck, or for some reason just the momentum slows down for a bit. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. I think, in my personal opinion, I think the momentum will only keep getting stronger as more and more major publishers and developers really want to get into publishing stuff on Steam Deck. We had Tokyo Game Show with Japanese and Western developers who've all expressed that they want to get in on Steam Deck, which, in my opinion, is a good sign that momentum is only going to further continue. But again, just that's my opinion on it, and maybe I'm a little biased because I have a Steam Deck, so it is in my interest to see the platform succeed so I can play more of my PC games on the Steam Deck. But all in all, just I'm just really hoping for the Steam Deck as a platform just to get better and better, especially with some of the patches that they've released, improving certain things that Steam Deck can do. From things like graphic quality to just longevity of being able to play on the Steam Deck for longer. So overall, I think there's just a long-term net good to be seen.
Okay, you've reached the quarantine zone. Keep your eyes peeled for
It's
scary
interesting that you
targets.
mentioned the Japanese gaming companies who are interested because of the Steam Deck. Because the one thing about the PC gaming that is kind of a problem is if you're into JRPGs or into Japanese-made games, they often don't update their games as well, and especially when it needs it. I'm looking at like Nier Automata, for example. That game, when it came out on PC, was not in good shape, and it took modders, I believe, to actually. Oh god, it was hitting me. It took modders to actually make that game fairly workable.
Yeah, and with Nier Automata, it's a bit of a complicated story. It's it's a bit of a he said, she said sort of issue. So basically, you have Square Enix who claim, oh, you know, it's NVIDIA's fault why we can't update the game. Tell NVIDIA to give us full access to how the drivers work, and then we'll get Nier Automata update. And then of course, NVIDIA's saying, no, that's bullcrap. Square isn't letting us look at the code on how the game works. So you know, just that's why we can't help Square out. Square needs to open their mouths and tell us how the fucking game works. And of course, it was just this weird tit for tat sort of an issue where just everyone just kept kind of screaming at each other with, you know, this this side isn't doing a thing, this other side's doing a thing, just someone help us do a thing. And then I think it was eventually after Square Enix and Nvidia sorted out their differences that finally the game got an official update.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, not quite the most normal story.
I mean, but that's not the only. But there have been other Japanese-made games that were on PC that just did not get great ports, and
Yeah.
like Chrono Trigger was another example. And I know they went and fixed that, but all they did on the PC version was they put the mobile port of Chrono Trigger on there, and they called it a day.
Originally, that was what happened, and then finally, after much bitching and screaming from the community, they did everything that the community wanted and got every single patch fix thrown in, and basically said, "All right, we've done our due diligence. We've done everything that the community wants. So just we think all is good. So hopefully this is what everyone wants, and hopefully this is exactly what you've been asking for." And the PC version of Chrono Trigger now is in a good state and is actually locked in and finalized. If I'm
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it took something damn near close to an act of a miracle for things to finally come together. But yeah, that one was a sordid mess of its own.
Yeah. God, what is... Oh, wow, okay. I think we're separating a little too much.
Yeah. I'm gonna go try to get to the other guy.
And I've been closed. Right. Okay, so those are the two topics that we talked about this week for the channel and for the podcast. So why don't we go ahead and go into new releases that happen? There really isn't much in the terms of stories. My God, I'm getting pelted. There we go.
Oh God.
Yeah, so there's not much in the way of stories, but let's get to new releases that are happening this month. Nothing has come out so far. Oh, I just killed myself.
Oh, I was gonna say, they gotcha. But yeah, new releases.
Alright, so new releases for the month of January. Right now, it's a lot of ports that are coming out. So why don't we just smash right into the ports that are coming out this month? And we'll start with Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. It's coming to all major... it's coming to basically the main consoles right now, which is the Xbox Series X and the PS5. I am not sure if they're going to include all the DLC. And if it doesn't, I would say that's a complete ripoff, because I'll bet you money that they're charging $70, $60 for it. So I hope it's going with DLC, I'm just not sure. But yeah, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is a release that's coming out. But, another one, of course, Persona 3 and Persona 4 Golden are coming to PC, Xbox, PS5, and Switch. They're all coming out this month as well. So we'll look forward to that. And what else? Monster Hunter Rise, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PS5, PS4. That's also coming. Oh my God, I'm being tackled.
Oh God. But yeah, the Persona releases are going to be great. because just more modern ways to play Persona is always a good thing, especially considering that P3 Portable has been a Vita only thing and this while, or no, not even Vita only. It was PSP thing.
Yeah.
So, and that had been generally the best way to play it, mostly because of the fact that just with P3P, it had a lot of quality of life improvements. And of course, just with the quality of life improvements, it also ends up making the game a little bit nicer to play. So
Yeah.
because I think the original PS2 release was super grindy.
Uh-oh. I've been trapped.
Always stick together.
I don't know. I don't remember being that grindy, but I do, and I'm being tackled again. I don't remember being that grindy. I mean, those games are pretty grindy as they are, but
Yeah, Monster Hunter Rise coming out to other platforms, I think is great, but really there's one big problem that has not been solved by Capcom, which is when is multi-platform lobbies coming? Because that is one game I think, in my opinion, that would benefit bigly from cross-platform play.
right. I definitely agree too, and this is kind of an annoying thing too, because like I would prefer to have had that on PC, to be completely honest. I played World PC mostly. Oh.
What happened again?
Okay. We have a lot of ogres in our team.
Yeah, Ogrins are awesome for tanking. Yeah, I've got a co-op sharpshooter build, so when I use my targeting skill, then you can see all the special mutants, which is pretty helpful. Okay, but yeah, that's one thing I would like Capcom to finally get down to solving. I would like them to finally start getting to a point that you see crossplay lobbies with Monster Hunter Rise, because I know I'm possibly the contrarian. I quite love playing Monster Hunter Rise on Switch.
Yeah.
Mostly because I can just kind of pick up and go. Whenever I want.
I get that. I definitely get that. I only played on the Switch because that's where it was originally released, and I really loved playing the game. But like I said, I played World on PC mostly, and loved the experience of it and playing it. And because I don't do a lot of mobile gaming anymore. I don't use my Switch handheld. I only play it on as a console. So, and I would have really rather had all that power to play the game. So that's just me. I mean, I understand like others didn't have that problem, and others like you like the portability. But yeah, if you haven't played it yet, it's coming to the other consoles. I just wish they would stop straddling these releases and just release them all at the same time. But I guess they have an exclusivity deal with Nintendo. I guess is why they did that this time.
Yeah, I'm presuming that Nintendo helped with the publishing cost or some form of profit sharing that I imagined was the thing. So I mean, yeah, I can definitely understand why some people would be a little frustrated. God, why can't this just be released on everything? But unfortunately, these are the times we live in where we've got platforms doing some sort of deal to help with the cost burden in some form or shape. I don't know. At least that's my speculation on what's going on.
Come on then, you losers!
But yeah, maybe, I mean, this is kind of a pipe dream sort of or no, not Nintendo, but Capcom. Maybe Capcom can finally get off their duff and do a big update that adds cross-platform play, because I would really love to see just the ability to lobby up with PC players, PS5 players, PC players, just wherever people choose to play.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. And I think that would be great for the longevity of the game, because there's going to be a ton of, and especially now, there's going to be a ton of people coming to the game fresh from Xbox and PlayStation, and going to start the game right at the beginning. But the cool thing about Monster Hunter, though, is that I never have a problem finding someone to play a game or a match right now, even at the starting ones, after like a couple of years of it being out. Like, I've never had an issue, which I found, and of course they're all Japanese that end up being the ones that play on there, but I'm always surprised by that even when the game is like 2 or 3 years old, there's still someone playing it at the lower rungs, or willing to play with like the lower monsters, or managing that or something like that. So
Yep.
So yeah, and the other port that I should discuss also, there's a port of Age of Empires 2 to Xbox One and Xbox Series X, which I thought was kind of strange.
Yeah.
Why those specific? Well, I think they're the ones that are the most beloved, I think.
Yeah, I believe Age of Empires 1 and 2 have one hell of a huge community base.
Yeah, but are they asking for it to be on console? That's the question I have. Like,
yeah. I don't know who's behind the port work, but I imagine they probably found a way to make the console experience palpable. And I'll be real curious to see how it is, because just typically the prospect of playing a RTS on a console is mostly a bad time.
Yeah, I don't know who exactly is on the port work either, but it'll be interesting to see what the reviews say on that game. So that's it for the ports. Let's get into the releases, and we'll start from the end of the month. I think something you're going to be interested in. Raiden 4 X Makita Remix?
Oh, the Mikado remix?
Yes.
Yeah, I actually bought the Raiden 30th Anniversary Collection, which is basically Raiden 4 Mikado mix and Raiden 5 Director's Cut. And for anyone who's not familiar with what the Mikado remix editions are, it's basically the same game, just instead the music has been done by Mikado Arcade, which is a DJ collaboration group out in Japan that's based out of a Japanese arcade. And they'll basically just run sets on like certain times, or they'll just have days where all they'll just do is spin music all day. It's kind of a cool thing, and basically they take the game tracks and just completely remix the hell out of it.
The soundtrack or the game itself?
The soundtrack.
Oh, okay. So it's just basically Raiden 4 with a new soundtrack? Is that what it is? Or
essentially, yeah. New soundtrack that's completely remixed, but if you're one of those purists who's just like, no, I want the original soundtrack, then I believe there's a toggle option to be able to flip the switch.
Oh, that's interesting. That's coming out in the month of the 31st. So I'm guessing you're going to look forward to that. I know you're a shooter.
Well, like I said, I actually got my copy through Limited Run Games from the Raiden 30th Anniversary, which is a hard copy version of both Raiden Mikado Remix and Raiden 5 Director's Cut. And the only reason I did that was mostly because there was a real insane promo price for the Raiden 30th Anniversary collection, so I was just like, okay, yeah, I was going to get those games for Switch anyways, so yeah, let me go ahead and just pick it up.
I think these are physical releases. I'm not entirely. They may not be, but they just said it's releasing January 31st. This is from The Gamer, I think is what the site I'm on. Yeah, The Gamer. Probably should pay attention to the game since I'm almost halfway out of life. Which is the exact opposite of everybody else because I seem to run into enemies constantly.
Well, there's a Medicaid station, so you can get a full heal.
Boom, baby. I'm back.
Yep. But I think the other high-profile release that everyone's probably looking forward to is Dead Space, the remake.
Yes. The original thought, we talked about this before Callisto Protocol came out. The original thought was that Callisto Protocol was probably going to do a lot of good sales and get a lot of goodwill, because since it seemed like it was on the right track, and that maybe it would steal the thunder of Dead Space, but that didn't turn out to be the case. So
yeah, I mean, I joked about it in the Discord this Discord server, but to be honest, Callisto Protocol kind of ended up landing like a sad orgasm. Mostly because of the fact that just everyone was hoping for it to be just the greatest things since sliced bread, and then unfortunately it just wasn't. It had its own share of problems. I know on PC it had the unfortunate circumstance of coming out with De Novo attached to it.
yeah.
Which did not make a lot of people happy. A lot of people were quite pissed.
Now, the problem with De Novo is that it essentially it causes problems, right? I know its basic use is direct copying of the files, but
yeah, it's a copy protection software that basically has like a phone home piece of code into it, and essentially what it's supposed to do is basically just constantly call home in order to basically just verify that the download is legit.
yeah.
And once it's been verified that the download is legitimate, then naturally it allows the person to play the game. And unfortunately, just due to how it utilizes processor cycles, it can be very, very resource intensive, and unfortunately, that has the unfortunate sad effect of causing lag in games. And that's why usually one of the first things some people do when they get a De Novo copy of the game legitimate is they will try as much as they can to strip the De Novo out as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And in some cases, some people just go, I'm just going to buy the legit game to tell the devs, hey, I want to support this, but then they'll immediately search for a pirated copy.
Yeah.
So, kind of sad sort of irony of all things. Oh shit, we gotta get up the stairs.
Whoa!
Oh god. But, yeah, so you had De Novo on the PC, then you had some real weird circumstantial issues that came up too, like, some people having glitches with their game occur. It was just a grand mess of a time. And I mean, maybe it's because I feel a little bit bad for Crafton, but yeah, just what was supposed to be something that they were hoping was going to be a very, very exciting time ended up kind of being spoiled by just bad things going on with the launch of the game. And again, just I'm not one to fanboy for one franchise or another. Just I just know survival horror is not a genre that makes a ton of cash. So the genre in general is just desperate for sales. So there you go, I gotcha.
Thank you.
But yeah, just in general, just survival horror is just a genre that desperately needs whatever sales that they can get. Otherwise, just you end up in a survival horror slump, like what happened to Resident Evil. Because Capcom confessed, yeah, you want to know why there haven't been Resident Evil games? Well, it's because Resident Evil wasn't making money at that point, so that's why we didn't release any survival horror games, which again is completely understandable.
Well, when it came to Resident Evil, though, when they started losing sales was after 6, right? Because 6 was an absolute dog of a game.
Yeah, just that was, but at the same time, just I think 6 also had the misfortune of really going hard into the action game sort of territory and moving a lot away from the survival horror roots. So completely understandable why sales fell. But yeah, just Krafton's talked a big game of the Callisto Protocol will change the landscape of survival horror. It will be the survival horror game we talk about. And unfortunately, just when it sort of landed with a bit of a dud, it was just like, okay, what else you got?
Yeah, but that's gonna set up Dead Space remake to probably do quite well unless they have their set of issues. So that is coming the 24th, I believe, or 23rd. It's coming at the near the end of this month. I'm surprised I haven't seen a lot of advertisements or previews of the game right now.
Yeah.
So hopefully they're just keeping their cards tight to the chest. So when it does come out, people can just experience it the way it is. Is this just a remake where they're just retelling the same story again? Or are they doing something different? I mean...
It's basically Dead Space 1 being completely retold with just the ability to tell all the story beats that they've wanted to tell. I think one of the huge improvements that they did show off was the fact that if you played the original Dead Space, you remember that when you went to a different hub or something, I died. That's okay. That's okay. Whatever. Just get on the. I got killed because I got killed too many times. But one of the big things that I know EA had talked about a bunch was the fact that if you remember how when you went from hub A to hub B, you had to take the trams to do that. In this one, you are not taking the trams. You are literally traveling using zero-G jetpacks to kind of fly around in open space.
Okay.
So, for people who have kind of wanted to see like the outside of the Ishimura and things like that, this is going to be a huge change.
Nice. Okay. Interesting. Let me just check the date real quick on that while we're waiting for everything. 27th is when it's coming out.
Yep. Okay. End of the month.
24th is Forspoken, the PS5 exclusive from Square Enix. The talk of this has been very mixed. There are some who played the demo. There's a lot of people who played the demo, and some enjoyed it, thought it looked good, and it has the skeleton of something that could be great. Others were not very keen on it. They also mentioned that the banter between the main character and the Cuff is kind of annoying, as we probably all suspected would be.
Yeah, so this is going to sound completely funny and maybe weeb of me. Pardon me for using the term weeb for anyone offended by the term, but So this is where it gets funny. For the PS5 demo, you can swap between English or Japanese dialogue, and they've got, I think, German and Spanish and French voice dialogue as well too. For fun, I decided, let's put on just for fun, let's put on the Japanese dialogue. And my God, the Japanese dialogue sounds like a really good and really fun action anime. And I'm just like, the Japanese scripting got it right.
Oh, okay.
Why is the English scripting so cringe?
Interesting.
So yeah, I was just like, okay, I kind of like how the game plays. Not really much of a fan on how the English dialogue is, but man, oh man, I would have no qualms with flipping the switch and putting the dialogue into Japanese and just enjoying the anime as hell dialogue, because man, oh man, it sounds good.
All right. Okay, so that's coming the 24th. I'm kind of mixed on it. I do want to try it out, but like this will be like an on-sale game for me. This will be like, oh, when that hits like 40, I'll check it out, I guess. Unless the reviews say that it's much better than what is led on. This might be something I kind of wait for. At least to me, at least. I know some are kind of excited by it. I'm kind of mixed. So, what are your thoughts?
From what I played in the demo, I thought it was actually kind of fun. It's not like peak high gaming or anything, but I think that it's a fun enough game. And while I wouldn't be able to get it on release day due to some personal circumstances, it would definitely be one that I would probably highly consider and wait for a good sale on. So, but yeah, I think it feels like Devil May Cry, maybe if it played a little bit slower, especially because you can make a lot of tactical decisions which can really change up fight circumstances and everything. So I think if you're kind of into that sort of thing, then this may be something to really keep your eye on. But that's kind of how I feel on it. Not everyone may feel exactly how I feel, but I think that's really what I would kind of preface that. Yeah, if you kind of want a fun character action game, then yeah, might be fun. If you like cringy Marvel movie style dialogue, then English dialogue might not bother you, but if it does, then consider flipping into another language, and you may find out that it's not as bad.
Yeah. I don't mind but Marvel dialogue, really, but like I'm at a point now, I've been watching all the Marvel movies. I'm getting kind of bored of it. I'm getting kind of tired of it. So that might be the reason to skip it to me. But it says right here, you've proven your worth for now. Reach trust level 4. Does that mean?
Yeah, basically just play until you reach level 4.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So I don't have anything else that I can do as of right now except go to another match.
Yep. You'll play and play and play, and then literally the next challenge will be, okay, you did good, now you need to reach this other level and prove your worth further. And that's pretty much the main loop of the game. And then I think really just the main crux will be just trying to get the sweet setup that you're looking for.
Right. Just like in Vermintide 2.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. We'll move on to the next game that's coming out January 20th. Fire Emblem Engage. I know a bunch of YouTubers have gotten this game already, and they're going through it right now.
Yeah, I think today Nintendo has allowed previews to be to be shown off for Fire Emblem Engage, and I think generally the opinion on the previews has been good. I think Eurogamer did a piece, and they basically claimed that it was a massive love letter to the fans of Fire Emblem, because there are maps that are remixes of old Fire Emblems.
Oh, nice.
So they were saying that, yeah, you know, just if you're just a stone nut for just Fire Emblem lore and Fire Emblem games, that you don't want to miss Engage. Engage is one that you are going to be kicking yourself if you miss out on.
Okay, all right. That's coming out the 20th, I think I read that.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, 20th. Jesus, like if you get this and either one of the Personas, you're gonna be you're playing a lot of RPGs for the time being. So that is the 20th, and the game coming up the 13th, and the only one we have left is hold on. Is One Piece Odyssey, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC. Another one that when it was announced looked interesting, but then had heard next to nothing about, really? Oh my god, what is this?
Oh, that is a demon host, and if you die, then you'll be held hostage, and it always targets one person. The best way to think of the demon host is to treat it like the witch from Left 4 Dead.
Oh god,
that
okay.
You do not disturb it, you do not touch it, you just leave it alone. So, we'll have to rescue you when you respawn in the map.
Okay, well, I'm spectating, so I'll just talk while you do your thing.
Something big and ugly.
Let's cycle to you. Okay, there we go. Wow, that's bloody.
Yeah.
So what I've heard is that One Piece Odyssey is essentially it's Dragon Quest XI, but One Piece, is that what you've heard too?
Sort of. I haven't really kept up with it, but I know the way that Bandai Namco has been marketing it. It just seems like it's going to be just the One Piece nerds read. So
yeah.
So I mean, just if you're just one of those mega One Piece fans, then yeah, you're probably gonna have a hate with this one.
And I'm not a big anime fan, but I know One Piece has been going on for like thousands of episodes and like hundreds of books. So obviously it's a successful franchise.
Yep, hugely successful. I think the author recently announced that he would be looking to conclude the story soon, and I want to say he recently took a very long and very much needed vacation. Because he had said, you know, just I really don't want to let One Piece run too long in the tooth, and you know, just I'd like to conclude the anime on my terms. Is essentially what ended up being sort of like the statement he put out.
I remember when the person who did Berserk died, and there were stories of his, like, basically what his life was like, and it was basically 60 hours of drawing and doing work and that was it. Like, his life was work, eat, shit, and essentially do the drawing, and that was it. So probably not a bad idea on his end to take a break from it and go from there.
Yeah, so if One Piece Odyssey ends up being the grand adventure that the One Piece fans are hoping for, then it's probably going to be great. So just here's to many good hopes and vibes that just One Piece fans get exactly what they want because, yeah, just sometimes some of these fan games can be real frustrating, and I get it, but I do genuinely wish well for those who are big One Piece fans because yeah, just anime games, depending on how they are, they can either be good or they can be pretty terrible. So yeah, just it's one of those your mileage may vary sort of scenarios, but yeah, for the sake of the One Piece fans, I legitimately hope that this one is genuinely good game.
Now I remember the first time I was exposed to the Naruto franchise, or is it Naruto? My nephew always makes fun of me for saying Naruto, but is it Naruto or what is it?
Naruto.
Naruto
is the Naruto is the Japanese pronunciation, but I'm not too picky on it, mostly because I worked in an anime store in my early years, so
oh god, that must have been fun.
So I had to deal with a lot of people who just butchered the pronunciation, so I had to throw a generally thick skin and go, okay, not everyone's super entrenched in this media, so yeah, let's try to have a thick skin.
Actually, Zero, it's Naruto Uzumaki. Get it right. Respect the lore. Yeah.
I think the worst one when I was working at an anime store was it's pronounced manga. Get it right. Just like, oh.
I think the worst thing I dealt with. Oh crap! Did I just die from a gremlin? Yes, I did. I think the worst.
There's a sniper in the area, so.
I think the worst one I ever dealt with was when I worked at Blockbuster. I worked for Blockbuster for like 2 months in high school, and there was this one guy that I dealt with, and he asked me out of the blue one day, he's like, hey dude, tell me a good movie. And this is around the time when Memento just came out on DVD and on VHS.
Yep.
And I was like, Memento is a fantastic movie. I saw it in the theaters. I have an interesting story about that, but I saw it in the theaters, absolutely loved it. It was amazing. And the guy literally goes, Memento? You think that is good? And I'm looking at him like, bro, you're balding, 45 years old, and you're talking to an 18-year-old about movies. What the hell is your problem? And he would go on to be like, you obviously haven't seen, I forget what the film was, but you obviously haven't seen this film if you think Memento is so great. And I'm like, yeah, okay, buddy. There's Gone in 60 Seconds. Have a blast. That's I think the worst one I dealt with.
But yeah, so as said, just I don't really harp too much on anime fans, for they may not know the exactness of things. So
yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that was a good grenade toss.
But that is it for new releases. We have a bunch of ports and those few games coming out.
Yeah.
Call me crazy, but I think One Piece is going to sell pretty well. Unless it turns out to be an absolute dog. I think One Piece might end up selling very well at the end of the month.
I have a general idea that I think One Piece is probably going to be good because I think Namco Bandai has been doing some sort of like PR showpieces on it, going, "Hey, look at all the cool shit you can do," and for the most part, it generally looks pretty damn good, and looks like everything that just the One Piece lore nerds want. Which, again, that's always great to see. Just a game really just sort of dip into the lore and let the fans have kind of the ability to do whatever they want within the restrictions of the game's universe.
I have been judged.
Right, those were.
I will say this about this game. The music is really good.
Yes, it is. It gets the drama going. That and, well, lots of sweet grand organ. Oh, grand organ. Best musical instrument ever. And that, folks, is me and the music theory nerd in me.
That was always something when I was studying film at school that I always had an issue with, was sound and music. There were exercises that we had to do in film class where the instructor would say, okay, write a 15-minute scene or a 15-minute script of sorts or an outline about like a story that you would do, how you block it, you know, the usual stuff.
Yeah.
And I would come up with this elaborate like story with emotion and heart and all this stuff, and without fail he would come back to me and says, B, he goes, great story, love the characters, but no music and sound. They don't say anything throughout the entire time. There's no music, there's no ambiance, nothing. And literally every single time, oh god, why did I do that? Oh, that was a bad move.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm trying to signal to the rest of the team to hole up right where the bridge spawns, because that way we can just make a quick exit. But I guess everyone wants to be where the action is.
Well, that was on
dangerous.
me. That was on accident. I thought I was hitting the button for a grenade, and I pressed my special ability button.
Yep. But yeah, let's start heading over. Just hold the consignment yard until.
Well struck.
Alright, cool.
What are your thoughts on what do you think Forspoken will do? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think it'll be okay, but I think unfortunately it may be yet another victim of Square Enix under marketing the game, because I think at least from the impressions I got from the demo, I think it feels like a generally pretty good game. Is the dialogue a little cringy? Yes, but I mean it's not absolutely terrible, but you know, just maybe Square does a big advertising blitz. Maybe they've got a big streamer showcase for viewers doing sort of like evaluations on just how they think the game is a solid game. I don't know.
I got a sniper on me.
I just picked him off.
Alright. I'm starting to get the feeling that this will be one of those Square Enix games where it may sell okay in the first month, but it drops off like a cliff.
Yeah.
And this will be the last we ever hear. I think this will be I don't think it hits the top 10, I think. Either top 10 in either the January month or the February month. I think it will essentially, it will have its fans. It'll have people who will champion it, unless it's an absolute turd. But
yep.
I think the marketing that they have done on it has not done it any favors.
God, no.
And on top of that, the only way for something like that to really gain a foothold is if the talk about it is actually overwhelmingly positive, which it has not been. It's been either people saying it's good, it's a little rough, or yeah, this is kind of cringe. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that game. It will sell okay. I don't think it will hit top 10, but after that, it'll probably the last we hear of the game as a franchise or the game period. That'll be it. it'll be over at that point.
Yeah, and again, just I think the game has maybe some potential, and possibly the potential that it could be a fun game. But I think the cringe dialogue does it no favors.
No. But let's be fair to you too, though. Cringe dialogue and terrible characterization and a mess story is not something that really damages most games. Most games have that in spades. So the main thing that matters is if the game is fun. But if it's not fun and people have issues with the game, then that's going to be its downfall. It could be cringe as hell, but if the game is fun, people will bare their teeth and deal with it at that point. So maybe if the reviews end up being overwhelmingly positive, then maybe it will turn out well. But other than that, I have the feeling this is gonna maybe not die in a thud, but I think this will be a disappointment for Square Enix. And it looks like a pricey game too. Like this doesn't look like a game where they just shat it out. That they put some time and money into it.
Yeah, this is a Luminous Studio production joint. So it's got some people who were part of the CG movie division of Square Enix out in Hawaii, but also I believe it's got some staffers from Final Fantasy 15 as well that worked on that. So yeah, it's definitely a big budget game, and while it's a studio that's based out in Hawaii, just with all the technology that studio has, it's definitely not a cheap production.
Yeah. Alright. I guess the only gun that my guy has is a shotgun.
Yeah, I think once you start leveling up, then you'll have your character's options open up and everything. Because, like, I think for me, I had, like, a crappy rifle in the beginning, and then once I got a little further in the game, it opened me up, and I was like, hey, now you can get rifles that do burst fire and automatic fire and all this other stuff. So, because I think the Ogren later gets access to grenade launchers. So, yeah, if you just like blowing up swaths of dudes, then yeah, that will be an option for you a little bit later once your character levels up their kind of rapport with the Inquisition.
Okay, interesting. And I see the cosmetics are expensive as hell. That's lovely.
And then of course they've got the cash currency, so if you want to get some microtransaction bling, then well, there you go.
Yay. Okay. Well, that's it. I mean, I'm not sure how much time we spent on this, but we basically went over everything.
Yeah. So I guess this is probably a good time to just close the weekly dividends, and as always, we will see you all next week when we have another set of recaps for next week.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening, and thank you for watching with us here. Like Zero said, we'll have a weekly session next week for the weekly dividend, and we'll have stories and stuff to talk about throughout the week as well. So, till then, thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Take care. Bye now. Thank you for checking out Capital Games, where we cover the business side of the video game industry. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you enjoyed the video. You can also subscribe to the podcast if you prefer to have it on your podcast feed. And check us out on our socials and email us if you have a question, comment, or suggestion. Thank you for watching and listening. We'll hear from you next time.